Hey LAN Party gamers, and welcome to Dreamhack. We're in Denver, Colorado, and on our previous video about how to host a LAN party, we were asked in the comments on how to host something a little bit bigger than just something in your garage or your backyard or your living room. Well, can't think of a better place to show you how it's done the right way than here at Dreamhack. So we're going to show you a little bit about how they do it here with as far as the BYOC area and how they get the network out to just all of these attendees. We've got over 1,000 computers set up here at Dreamhack, and we're going to try to dip our toe into just how that is accomplished. So let's check it out. Okay, so behind me here is the support area for BYOC, and what we've got is all of the network distribution is going to be happening from where the telecom room gets you into it to every seat at the LAN. So what they do is they've got separate fiber lines running from 10 gigabit switches in the telecom room, which is upstairs, through the rafters, through the beams, and down straight to the NOC here, where it can be serviced and brought out to every member of the LAN. From there, we've got feed lines of either fiber or Cat6 bringing straight gigabit or 10 gig to the end of each row, which is then distributed row by row in 100 meg bits, where they're basically giving 100 meg switches to non-premium seats and gig switches to premium seats, and then each computer gets a straight 100 meg connection to the internet. And that's what everybody's running on. It means that local transfers aren't all that fast, but it means that everybody has a straight 100 meg up and down when we got a 1 millisecond ping to the internet with speed tests. So that's awesome. And obviously in this day and age, most of the stuff is online. You're going to download the things through Steam or some other online fashion. So having local transfers is a lot less important than making sure that everybody has a very solid connection to the internet itself. Now, as far as local games go, we still have a lot of that going, like Team Fortress. We've got a lot of we had a Halo going on last night with our own little micro server you saw in our previous video. And what they do to facilitate that along all of these different networks is they have this server software that actually listens for broadcasting servers, local broadcast servers, and then propagates that with all the other VLANs so that even if you're not on the same switch or network or VLAN, you're still going to be able to go into Half-Life Deathmatch or Team Fortress 2, click that LAN tab, and still see somebody hosting a game on the other side of the event hall, which is really cool considering that every single switch in this place is technically a separate VLAN. So what that means is, as you may or may not know, you can only get 250 people on any given network depending on your subnet mask. So with having over 1,000 people here, you really can't have everybody on the same network. So what you do is you separate each desk section out by VLAN, and then we do that by switch. So power here at Dreamhack was actually distributed by the venue itself so that each row would have enough power per user, and that's basically just done by the venue itself at this particular location. They know the power requirements for the building and where all the breakers lead and how much power is being able to be produced by each socket. So that was dropped by the venue itself. Now how it's terminated, whether it's a splitter or it's a power switch, then that is done by Dreamhack at that point. But getting the power to the table was actually done by the venue itself. So that's the BYOC area, and obviously this is Dreamhack, so it's going to be a lot more than just your typical BYOC LAN. Let's take a walk around and see how they do the other events here at Dreamhack and see if we can't find out exactly how it's done, or at least get a glimpse of how that's done. So right behind me is the main stage, and right now we're doing Counter-Strike. Now this is the main stage in Building 1, where you can see a lot of different tournaments going on. This is also where they had the dance. And basically what's going to happen here is that back on Monday, to set all of this up, what they had to do was test out all the audio. They had to test out all the video. They have projectionists come in, lighting come in. They've got fog machines. So in order to do something of this magnitude and this scale, you have to actually hire a production company unless you run all of this equipment yourself. This company comes in and figures out exactly for this space how much is needed as far as sound equipment, how the volume is going to handle in each section of the room so that every audience member gets a similar experience, how the stream is going to pick up that audio when you're shouting in the background like they're doing here as they're in the middle of a match. Then another section of the production crew takes that information and puts that into the stream, simultaneously broadcasts that to the main screen here, and then you have another person controlling what the spectator sees. You have another person controlling how that relates to the cameras that are shooting the people playing. You've got another camera set up just for audience reactions. You've got another camera set up just for the commentators. And you have a production manager that says, I need you to switch to this camera, I need you to switch to that camera, I need that reaction shot. And you have maybe a couple of those kind of production people going into it. So for something of this scale, a lot goes into it, and this isn't even the biggest arena here. We're going to go check out the main esports arena because as impressive as this show is, you're in for a treat as we step it up a notch and see the other three main stages here at Dreamhack. Let's go check that out now. Okay, we're here at the Dreamhack Esports Arena, and it is way more than that. There are 3 stages here that you can watch while you're here as well as from home. The 3 main events held in the arena this weekend were Quake, CSGO, and Halo. The Halo matches are still going on the Quake Arena right now as they've moved over to that stage, possibly for space reasons or just because it's got a little bit closer to the door. People get interested, they see it, they walk in, it's the first thing they see, and you've got this great spectacle. You've got the announcers talking over the speakers, and there's a lot going on in this one building. Now, as far as the infrastructure goes and how they pulled this off, you take everything from the main stage that we just saw in the other building and you magnify that by 3 to 5. And you think 3 stages, okay, you magnify that by 3, but not really, because you have all the pro tournaments going on in this same building. It's not only the people playing on the main stage, you also have preliminary tournaments. You have Halo free play going on below us. And you have to make sure that all of the players have places to be. If they have a tournament coming up soon, but they just played one, you got to make sure that they're taken care of as far as catering, food, restrooms. You've got people that handle all that for the pro teams. You also have to make sure that each stage doesn't interfere with the stage next to it. So what they've done is the audio engineers that we talk to basically tell us that each speaker setup has its own specific range in which it directs its audio, and they even have laser guides that help you fine-tune exactly which audience you want those speakers to go to. So they're able to make sure that the tournament over here isn't overlapping the audio from the tournament over here, and then again on the other side of the stages. So it makes it really interesting when you're walking around the arena, and it's a giant circle, so you can see everything in one go. You get very different experiences from stage to stage to stage. And watching a lot of these tournaments and being here, the hype is very real. The people that come and watch these are cheering, they're giving oohs and ahs, and the pro teams are really giving it their all, as this really is the biggest stage this weekend, if not the whole year, for a lot of these teams. When you're talking about offline time, when they're not sitting there on the stage, it's not just sitting around, they're getting ready. There's areas for them to prep, to warm up, for the teams to do their preliminary matches. And of course, if you're a fan of Halo on Xbox, they even have the free play area, similar to the free play area that we'll go take a look at in the main area above BYOC. They have stations set up so you can play Halo on Xbox One. It's really neat to see all of this attention to detail set up 3 times in one building. and they pull it off very well. It's very impressive to walk in here and see exactly why they have this venue separate from the rest of DreamHack. And at first you think, oh, I'm not sure if I want to mosey over there, but once you do, you won't be let down. So let's go check out the other areas of DreamHack. We've got the free play area, which we talked about before, as well as some of the vending areas, and the streamer zone, which is where we've been streaming this entire weekend ourselves. Let's go check that out. Right now we're walking over to the streaming zone, and what we're going to be doing is actually streaming the finals for the PUBG tournament. So that's going to be cool. They're giving us access to the streaming zone for our channel, San Diego Land. If you're not already a follower, make sure you do. But so we're going to be streaming that right here from the main exhibit hall at DreamHack, and we've had access to this for like 4 hours every day the entire weekend, so that we can stay in touch with our audience even when we're not at home, being able to stream from the house. So it's really nice that they offer that to streamers that are visiting just to be here at DreamHack. So Lisa donated all of these beds to the sleeping area. So if you have a premium sleeping pass for the weekend, you have an amazing bed to sleep in the entire time. Thanks, Lisa. We're here at the free play area for PC this time, and this is all sponsored by CLX or Cybertron, and they're basically showing off some of the games, but you can also do free play on many of the systems. They're giving you a 40-45 minute time if there's a line, but they're way more lenient than that later on when there's no line. If there's no people waiting, they're going to go ahead and let you keep playing, because obviously a full seat looks better than an empty computer, and that's not being used. So we've got a few different areas here. We've got the Xbox area where you can play games like Madden and Halo, and they've got equipment rentals where you just basically turn in your ID and get a piece of equipment like a controller, and then you get that back when you return the equipment. At the PC area, we've got a lot of games, a lot of player unknowns being played, of course, as well as a game Lawbreakers, which is installed on many of the systems because the devs are actually here this weekend, and they're giving away game codes and they're showing off their game for publicity as well as some sponsorship. So it's really cool that even without a BYOC pass, you can still have a chance to play some games and get a chance to sit down when you're not exploring the rest of the halls here at DreamHack. It's really nice to have. Now, board gaming is more your style. You can even check out board games, card games, and even do Pokemon or Magic the Gathering tournaments here at DreamHack. They're all officially sponsored and licensed by Wizards of the Coast, and you can even win some great prizes. So behind me here we have the Indie Playhouse, and basically what it is it's a whole bunch of indie developers, card games, board games, and of course video games. This is a video gaming convention, and basically you're able to play their game, you're able to talk to some of the developers, talk to the people that make them, and really get a cool sense of some of these that you may never have heard of because they're not from major developers. So they have a really nice little outlet here. If you're walking around, make sure you stop by a booth like this and check out some of these smaller booths because they have some really quality content, and hopefully we'll see some of their games show up at our lands once they get released. Behind us we've got the arcade area. You're able to play this for free, included with your badge, and if everything else is closed, this runs 24 hours. You're able to play whatever you want, as much as you want, assuming nobody is waiting for that cabinet, which is really cool. So another great thing to do if you're not BYOC, or even if you are, get down with some DDR, play some old school cabinet games, and get gaming. All right, after a long day of streaming, we've got some raffles going on. Right now we're at the XPG booth by A-Data, and they're going to be raffling off some prizes, some gifts, some goodies to a bunch of people that are excitedly waiting for it here.